Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have a little project for you. It's a little early, but a Halloween project. I don't know if you've seen in the catalog the little coffin treat boxes, but I'm going to show you some that I've made, how to put them together, and then we're going to make another kind of little treat bag to go with this so you can get some ideas for Halloween. Now, not everybody is crazy about Halloween, and I understand that. In my family, it's always been a big deal because my mother's birthday was on Halloween, and one of my brothers was born on Halloween, and his wife was born on October 30th. So Halloween often in my family was just almost as big as Christmas. So we've always done a little bit of celebrating. So I have a couple of little projects for you to see here. So let's just get started. Okay, so these are the three projects that I have put together so far. I used a couple of different things here. I have this die set, Ornate frames dies, and look at all of these framelit dies. They're just beautiful. I used this one here. I used this little one here. This little one here. The other die set I got is called Wicked Dies, and they cut out this wicked word here and this little spider. And so that's kind of what I've done here. So I thought today, the other thing I'm using is this Monster Bash paper from the catalog, and Monster Bash Designer Series paper. And it's got little ghouls and haunted houses and spider webs. And it's got frames and then this paper here that shows the haunted house. It's got bats, and it's got newspapers, all just kinds of things. Some pretty designs. There's some of this stuff that could be used for other than Halloween. Jars of creepy crawlies and books, and another one that's a pretty design here. So there's actually quite a bit that can be done with this paper, and I've used it a little bit, and then I also have this little set, which is Monster Bash Enamel Shapes, and it's got all of these cool little enamel shapes. We've got crows and skull and crossbones and dots and tombstone heads and all different kinds of things, and so I thought that would be kind of fun. Now let me show you how this coffin comes. We get two pieces that come with this set. You get a bottom piece here that makes up the coffin base here, and then you get the piece to make the lid. Now, I was afraid that this might come apart, so some people were using tear and tape, but I went all the way to liquid glue. I just didn't want to take any chances. So in order to do this, you really just need to burnish your score lines here, and the better your score lines are burnished, the easier this little project goes together. So I'll just go ahead and do that here. It really is a pretty simple little process, and very cute. If you have some special trick-or-treaters, grandchildren, or nieces and nephews, or your own children, or a little Halloween get-together party. I know a lot of people don't take their kids trick-or-treating anymore. They do private parties so they can control what it is they're getting, and that's a pretty good idea in my opinion. And so this would be fun as favors for a trick-or-treat little party, and anything along those lines. Or if you just have special trick-or-treaters, like say grandchildren or something, that are going to come by, then this is a wonderful way to put their treats together. And I haven't gotten to the store yet to get my candy corn and other kinds of treats that I want to put in these boxes. And people that are coming to my card class in October are going to get one of these little treat boxes as a little gift from me for if we're coming to the card class. So I have a few of these to make up, and I've actually made up almost a whole package of them. So I thought it would be kind of fun to come on and just show you how to do it, and they really are pretty simple. Okay, so now that I've got all of my edges burnished here, what I'm going to do is take my liquid glue, and I am going to put some glue on my tabs here on either side of this piece on the bottom, and that is going to connect here on these sides. So I'm going to just put it together and kind of hold it in place here just for a second to get it started. And then what I found is making sure that they're lined up here on the corners, and then just holding them for a second or two, let Tombow get its grip there. And then the same thing here with these edges. Put a little bit of glue on the tabs, and then put those pieces together and kind of hold them for a second until the Tombow gets a little bit of a grip on those, just a couple of seconds really, and then it'll dry and get. Now I've gotten a little bit of glue on the inside here. I find that if I wipe that right up with a wet wipe, and then I can always use my glue eraser to take away any other pieces. And it doesn't take a lot of glue, but there we go. And because my score lines were burnished so well, this goes together really pretty darn easily. And you just want to make sure that your edges are square. And using Tombow also helps, because when you put them in place, then you can kind of manipulate them so you get them to go together well. Okay, so that's the base done. Now the lid, the tabs are a little bit smaller, so we have to be a little careful here. And again, holding these edges and getting those edges to line up there nice and square. And working with Tombow, if you need to make a little adjustment, you can do that right away. Now, down on this end, this one tab here is pretty small, but it worked pretty well. So just a little dab of glue on either side there, and then I'm just going to hold those together for a second and let that glue start to set. Okay, last two tabs here. You'll have to let me know in your comments whether you're a Halloween person or not. For some people it's just ghoulish and they really don't care about it, since it also represented some pretty important birthdays in our family. We almost always had Halloween kind of celebrations of some sort. So I got used to celebrating Halloween. Okay, so there we go. Let me clean up a couple of those edges, and there we have a box complete, and it just fits nicely on the top there. Now, what I did to get my backing for my Wicked here, this is the one I wanted to show you, and then we'll do some other decorating on another piece here, is I just took my lid and I put it on a scrap of Gorgeous Grape here, and I went around the edge of the box lid here with a pencil and made my little mark here. And then it's kind of hard to see on camera, but I can see the pencil. I don't know if you can see, maybe if I tilt it. In any case, what I did was I came back in with my snips and I cut about 1/8 of an inch on the inside of that pencil mark. So all the way up past the corner, and then 1/8 of an inch on the inside of that edge, and again here on around. And I did the same thing for this one by marking on the designer series paper and then cutting the lid piece out there. And with your pencil guide, it's actually pretty easy to cut. And frankly, if it was a little bit off, I thought about this, that maybe it would be kind of fun to just distress these edges anyway and not worry too much about how straight the cutting is, and just take your scissor edge there and kind of rough those edges up. And that takes care of any imperfections on the cutting. There we go. Now I can then take this piece here, and let's see how we did. Pretty well. Then take this again, and I just used wet glue since that's what I started out doing here, and put some glue in place on my piece of Gorgeous Grape here, and put that into place on my lid. Then I have pre-cut out a couple of these Wicked dies, and what I did was I cut them out in black, and then I cut them out in the sparkle paper. And so what I did was I just used some liquid glue again on the back of my word here, and put this down on my box lid. Some of parts of this lettering is pretty wide, so it's pretty easy to get some glue on there. And I see a spot that I kind of missed. Okay, and then got my black letters down and put on my box here. Give that a second to adhere. Then I did the same thing with this piece and put a little bit of glue kind of strategically here in a couple of spots. And then, because now I've got glue on my work surface here, which I'll clean up. Then I put my glittery Wicked just slightly offset to my black one so that I could see the black underneath. And I'm going to hold that in place just for a second there. And you want to just get it placed so that it's a tiny bit offset. Got a little bit of glue here and there where I don't want it. But again, it cleans up really pretty easily. There we go. Now I've got that down here. And then I also cut out the little spider. And let's see, I should have a glittery spider, and I should have a little black spider, which I do have here. And I did exactly the same thing. I put a little bit of glue on the back of my spider here and put him into place on my lid, and then put the glitter spider just offset so you could see the black from the front side of this. And that's a little more glue than I wanted on there. Okay. So there is my glittery spider on top of my black spider. I'm going to hold that into place for just a second. And there we go. Isn't that cute? It's just decorated enough so that it looks really kind of fun. And you can use, if you want to add a little bit more bling to this, it'd be real easy to put some of the purple gems here from the Noble Peacock, or just the plain rhinestones. And since this is done with the glitter paper, I think I'm just going to use regular rhinestones here and put a couple of those rhinestones on my project here around the box. And isn't that fun? So there we go. There's that project completed, and you can see that it goes pretty fast. Then I thought I would take a couple of different things that would make something a little bit different. And I have one of our cellophane bags here that we would normally might put a card in, and I'm going to cut along the edge here of that cellophane bag. And then I have a piece of paper in black. Now this piece of black is, let's see, 5 inches by 3.5, and it's scored at 1.5. And I thought you could make a little treat bag out of something like this pretty easily. And all we really need is maybe a couple of glue dots to hold this in place. So I'm going to put 3 across the back here. And you could make some Halloween treats for, like I said, some special trick-or-treaters. There we go. We'll put that on there, and then we can just staple this shut. And I thought it would be kind of fun. I cut a piece of pumpkin pie that is 1 3/4 by 4 3/4 to sort of mat on the front of this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that piece down. And then I cut a little piece of this designer series paper here that had some of the interesting characters and some of the ghouls on here. And so I'm going to put that down to one side of my paper here towards the bottom. Then I have a little piece of satin ribbon that I thought might go kind of across the top of this piece here. So in this case, it almost needs to come this way. And I'm going to cut that so that it just overlaps a bit. And I'm going to attach that also with some glue dots. So let's see. I'm going to take a glue dot and put it on this end of the ribbon and put that into place where I want it. Then I'm going to pull this end and take another glue dot and put it on the end of this piece of ribbon and cover over this end like that. Okay, then I have made a bow out of some of our, what is this called, glittered organdy ribbon, because it's got that pretty sparkle glitter on there. And I'm going to use glue dots again and secure that down on the top here, just making this little gift pouch a little bit more special, a little fussier. And I'm going to put a glue dot down on both sides of the bow to keep it from bouncing around. So like that. And then these are some of the embellishments that come, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to put some of those over on this side. So I thought I would put a tombstone over here with some bats on it. There we go. Just kind of cattywampus here. And a skull and crossbones. And get it picked up there. Coming right in here, and a crow. And I think that makes an awfully cute little treat bag. Now you can do some stamping on here and put Happy Halloween or have a spooktacular celebration, so on. And so I thought that was kind of fun to be able to put something like that together. And in fact, I have this one label that I've cut out of this paper, and we can just kind of, maybe I'll do that. Let's see, what would we like to put on this? Here we have from Itty Bitty Greetings, there is a sentiment here that says trick or treat. And so I thought I would put that on my card using some of my Momento ink here. And it's small, but I think I'm going to put it in the middle. Make sure I'm doing that right side up. I don't have my label on here. There, trick or treat. And then I could use some of these other pieces here to put some embellishment on this. Maybe some of these little black dots. We've got larger ones here, and then some smaller ones. And maybe another skull and crossbones here on the bottom of my label. And then I can go ahead and just put some glue on the top half of this little label here and put that into place right down here on our treat pouch. And isn't that just cute? So there is a sample of a couple of things that you could do with some of our material for the Halloween time frame here. And like I said, I always do a little something for Halloween just because it was such a big deal in my family. And so there are some samples. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, and or you could join my team. It would be lovely to have you join me. So there we go. There's a couple of examples. I cut some of the little frames out. I put some spiders on dimensionals here. I could put another spider on this one. And there we go. We've got this all ready to go. And we can put a glue dot or two here to kind of hold this closed, and it still wouldn't be too hard to open. And make some little special treat bags for your favorite witch or goblin. So, let's see, my prize draw for the month of September is the your choice of a bundle out of the holiday catalog. And so I'll be doing that drawing later in the month. And all it takes to get in my drawing is to place an order on my website, www.lbedinger.stampinup.net, or get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. So there we go. And so I'll see you next time. I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.